Hey guys. So I thought I've been doing a lot of editing on my page and trying to organize things. Just like I took down the picture in a previous video and then I was like, where am I going to put that? I'll just put it back up. I have a lot of pictures of like where it doesn't show women's faces and they're kind of bent over, and that one I always thought like it's like a surrender kind of picture. Anyway, and here he is again. He's the one that always hops up during recordings or something. I think he just wants attention. But so I thought that I would make a video about some of my page too, because I'm going to be changing a lot of things as I go. It's one of those learning processes. I had said in a previous video, I've always been that person who felt like I had to know everything, before I took a step, plan everything perfectly, know all the information, and then part of this journey of mine is just, if you wait till everything's perfect, you're never going to start. So, using a lot of the things that I had told clients before about, things don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. So, I moved stuff around, and one thing that during this journey I realized is, a lot of us feel connected in music. A lot of us relate when it comes to music. So, one of my things, and this is like something me and my brother had talked about, is making playlists for different times that you feel different things. And so, I've added a couple things on my page about if you feel like the victim, if you feel like the villain, if you feel like you've lost someone, and added some songs and added some videos. Because sometimes, when we feel like we're lost and we feel like somebody can't relate, we might turn to music. Or a lot of us, pull out YouTube and search YouTube for some relatable video. So that's been something that I've tried. And if you go and check it, there's a lot of them that some of the same videos I realized when I was trying to categorize stuff is some of them could be in the same categories. Just like songs. You might listen to a song when you're heartbroken and you might relate to the person who somebody left. But then you might listen to it a later time and you might relate to the other part of it of somebody leaving. So a lot of it's just what point of view you're in. Do you feel like the victim right this second, or do you feel like the villain? Sometimes you can feel like both. And so that's something that I've been trying to do. If anybody has any suggestions, they can email me. My email's in there on my page and give me some ideas because I'll just be adding to it. I know that's what helped me out a lot when I felt like I couldn't express myself. I felt like nobody's hearing me. Nobody's hearing anything that I have to say. It doesn't matter if I write it, it doesn't matter if I speak it. It doesn't matter. So I would turn to music and be like, let me search for a song so that I can feel those emotions. And then I can let it go after that song's over. That's where some of us have to be careful. I realized going through my playlist, I had made a video about this the other day as I just put on my likes and a shuffle, and I had so many just heartbreak songs and sad songs because I've been going through that for years. That, if you listen to a couple, then the algorithm's going to feed into it and say, oh, you want to hear sad songs? Here's another one, and here's another one. And that's where I've always said, it's it's doing pattern recognition. So, something I'm going to work on in the future is creating some playlist of, if you feel like you're down in the deep depths, here's a playlist to like bring you out of it. You know, um, that's a lot of mine would go from heartbreak. And then, I'm pretty even keel. Maybe a love song might bring me back, if I've lost my faith in love. Then I'm going to listen to a love song and that reminds me, oh yeah, there is love. And then that brings me to the feel good, or sometimes I have to listen to something feel good first. And then I'm like, oh yeah, there is love in the world. And so that's something that I'll be doing differently. I've already started it. There's so many songs. Something that I've realized in I finally uploaded tons of screenshots and videos that I had on my phone, and I had stuff dating like 10 years back because when I got a new phone I just had everything transferred, and then I was like, oh, that's why my phone keeps saying it's almost out of storage because I've got 10 years worth of screenshots and every single thing I've ever researched in there, every single meme that I ever thought was funny. And then I would get so frustrated trying to go through and search for something, or even, times that I went through and tried to organize things, it would be like, oh, I forgot. I even took a screenshot of this. So that's a little bit of what I'm doing. And trying to put stuff in categories it's easier for people to search. Because I know that my page is going to be all over the place. It's going to be, sometimes this relates to relationships. Sometimes this relates to relationships with ourselves. Sometimes this relates to relationships with others. Sometimes this might relate to relationships with the cat. I used to get so startled by the cats if I was really chilled and they would jump up. And I think I had that startle reflex. And I always wonder, is that because I dealt with a lot of strong feelings all day long working with the homeless population and helping people through their trauma, helping people, to get the help that they need or the resources that they need. And that's where that saying of, you can't walk through water without getting wet. Sometimes people are in water and you got to go help them out. And then it sometimes gets stuck to you. And so I think, making playlist of different things helps people, because I know for me, sometimes I would just put on my phone and just let it play. And the algorithm would just spit out another, video that they're like, oh, I've been studying on aphantasia. And for those of you that haven't watched any other video of mine, it's where you can't form visual images. And that was something I never knew that was different as far as I am compared to other people. That I would say, oh, that makes sense. If I can't pull up that visual image, then I'm going to write everything down. And I would write stuff, on a board in the house. I would write in my planner. I would rewrite a different part of my planner. I would make lists, make notes, do everything, because I would say, like, my memory's on overload of trying to remember everybody else and everything going on with everybody else, that a lot of times it'd be like, I forgot about me. I made sure that everybody else ate and I forgot to eat. And I think sometimes that happens with us. And part of this journey's been like getting myself organized, because I've always said that I'm really good at organizing other people. I'm just, when it comes to myself, I would be self-sacrificial and say, or get so frustrated, say either other people are more important, I could put my life on hold to help them, or just get so frustrated of there's just too much stuff, and or I'm exhausted after helping everybody else. And so it's been putting things, in places and keeping them there, not having things switch around all the time, because that would throw my memory off. It's been, and that's helped regulate my emotions a lot, of when you know that you're not going to get frustrated because you can go out in the garage and know where the tools are. You can go in the kitchen and know where the dishes are. You can know those things. And that's how my brain works. It's just knowing. It's not necessarily, if somebody asks me, where is the thing in the kitchen, I don't pull up a visual image of the kitchen. It's just usually, well, I remember myself doing that. I remember myself putting it away. But if a lot of chaos is going on, then at that moment, I'm like, I don't remember. I don't remember where that is because I've got so much other stuff on my mind. And so I just wanted to throw out a video and let everybody know that that's if you see stuff switching around, just like I've changed my name on there. I don't know if sometimes people don't get it that I put Sea Witch to Phoenix 2020. And a lot of this is because starting in 2020 was when I started doing a lot of diving deep into myself and, knowing who am I without all the attachments in my life, all the titles in my life. Who am I individually? And I had, a friend back then that helped me with that told me, you figure out you, what you like. And and then also, they say hindsight's 2020. So I guess it's like a double play of, when you look back, sometimes you don't see stuff while it's happening. And then when you look back, you can see stuff if you can self-reflect. You can see it clearly. And that's part of this journey is when I can self-reflect and be like, well, what happened back when? How did that affect me? What was going on? How did that make me feel at the time? Because my memories have feelings attached to them. It's more of a feeling of, I described in a video before, it's more, well, I remember somewhere in my mind, that I was there, but I don't have a visual image to pull up in my head. I don't have a picture in my head to pull up, but I know the way it made me feel. So if it made me feel positive, I'm probably going to want to repeat it. But if it made me feel negative, it'd probably make me fearful. You know, so that's been part of figuring out how emotions are attached to a lot of that. And and then part of it was, I had in there where I had capitalized letters where it said switching, and I don't think people got that. I'm always about the hidden meaning, the deeper meaning. And a lot of times I know people don't think that. I've always been that play on words person. Like, give me a puzzle book with some play on words, I could probably figure it out. Um, I figured out looking into astrology that my North Node, and they say that's where, you need to work on those strengths. That's who you're supposed to be. Whereas the South Node is who you were. The way that you've been raised or raised yourself and maybe letting go of some of those things. And my North Node's in Scorpio, so I was like, oh, that makes sense. I've always been the hidden deeper meaning of things. Like, that's been a strength of mine. So I in switching some stuff around, I just changed it to Sea Witch to Phoenix 2020. My Facebook is still Sea Witch to Rising Phoenix, I believe. Let me see. See, right there, I'm like, I don't know. Did I say Rising to Phoenix or did I say. Let me check. Because that's where I say it's the memory thing. And I've not been on my other Facebook page for a while. So to me, I would be like, I don't see which to Rising Phoenix. So if you want to look me up on Facebook, that's what it is. Sometimes I post these videos and sometimes I just post other stuff I find interesting. Some stuff might be funny. Some stuff might be on spirituality. Part of that's been, learning things and then I just share. That's been my personality for a very long time is if I learn something then and it's beneficial, then I want to share it with other people. Just like if I learned something and it wasn't, I might say like, watch out. I want to warn you about that. So, going back to the name. So I did the switching little hidden thing because I was like, I've always felt like underwater, very emotional. They say that's where emotions are. And and so I would say like I'm kind of like an octopus. Like I'm figuring out the puzzles. I think I'm pretty intelligent. Um, Octopus are fascinating creatures, and it's been proven that they can not only physically feel things, but they can emotionally feel, especially pain. But too many times in my life, people have been like, you're like Ursula the witch, the sea witch. So I did some research and I'm like, man, octopus got a bad rap. People started calling them sea witches, especially after Disney made that movie, when they're really not. They're very intelligent creatures. We could probably learn a lot from them. Um, so in this, I was just in that whole like, well, I felt like I'm under the ocean, but I want to rise above it. Like the phoenix. And I had gotten a tattoo on my back, like right after my divorce, years and years and years ago. And I thought about it for a long time. And I had just said, like, I think that's what it is like I've spent a lifetime, it's almost like in this rebirth. Like, here's your new place and start over. Or here you thought this was going to happen and it didn't. It all came crashing down and burning. So rise again, keep rising again out of the flames. And even when I would get emotionally dysregulated, I would tell people, like, it feels like my body's on fire. Like, it physically hurts for somebody to touch me, especially if I'm scared. Then, and I would say it just takes a little bit. Could you just stand over there for a second? Because my body's reacting and I need a little bit to calm down. And I had learned then later on about, when I feel like that, paying attention to my physical body. When I feel like that, to splash some water on my face, maybe go get an ice pack so that I can tell my body that it's okay. I'm not burning down to the ground. I'm not, sinking back into an ocean where everybody's calling me a sea witch, so that was part of it. Um, but so tonight, I had a pretty good New Year's and I made another video earlier. And then I went through some of that editing and adding some things. And I mean, I have like, I don't even know how many thousands of songs that I did some of it and then was like, there's so much. I need to take a break. Otherwise, it doesn't become, it becomes overwhelming to me. So that's been something, teaching myself to take breaks. I lit some candles. Candles help. The overheads really get to me. Like, that's why I'm squinting a lot. My eyes are really sensitive, but I have to have lights on. I'll work on all the lighting and sound and everything later on. It's technology is just so much, especially if you don't know anything about it and it's just me. I'm just like, where? So I'm using my phone a lot. Like, where do I find the video I recorded? In what file? It's not in the videos file. And how do I upload this to this? And, teaching myself and then trying to be nice to myself about it's okay. You can learn it. Don't worry about it right this second. You're okay. I lit some incense. I would say incense really helps. Um, when you feel that way, it's a lot of it's been recreating, or I should say creating peaceful environments, peaceful places. I looked into meanings of different incense because people just say, "Oh, I just got some incense, whatever." But there's actually, you know, um, each scent, each plant, each thing has a purpose. So I started looking up, like if I make a video, I'll be like, I'm gonna light some sandalwood or some frankincense because that's helps with mental clarity and communication. The colors of candles that I light. Yellow and blue are known to be effective for communication. And some people might call me woo woo, but there's a lot of history in spirituality. And I think sometimes our society has switched it to be like that's all make believe, even though we have, you know, um, artifacts, we have information that goes all the way back before computers. We have history that, it's not just all made up. So I got a cup of tea. I used to drink energy drinks a lot, and it would help me out for like a short little time, and then I would just crash. And then I started researching about like different kinds of teas and or energy drinks and the effects, and they're made to give you that little burst, but if your body's tired and you're trying to keep it going with an energy drink, but your mind is racing, then there's a lot of stuff in there that will make your mind race even more. So then you become disaligned with your body and your mind. And then it takes a lot longer for your mind to come back down. So I had researched a lot of different herbal teas and different, I guess, holistic treatments of, if I'm feeling like my body hurts because I'm stressed out, then I might go in and take a salt bath, and that helps. And then, I found out, oh, that's called a spiritual bath, and that helps to alleviate pain and align your body. I said, oh, I didn't even know that's what I was doing. So, anyway, I wanted to explain a little bit about what I'm doing again. Probably be like updated videos. I think a lot of maybe first starting YouTubers or TikTokers, whatever, will probably do that where they tell people what's going on. And for me, I've always been better verbally. It helps. Sometimes I think it helps to formulate, what I'm thinking as I'm saying it. Because for me, it's not like a picture in my mind of the speech I'm going to get. And then if I make note cards or something, then I'm more worried about, do people think that I'm not looking at them? I'm being insincere, just stuff like that. But so I hope everybody's having a good night. I'm going to upload this. Might make another one. And I will chat with you later. And if you like any of these, like them or comment, or send me some emails about songs that or some things that you've figured out that help you, because I think we're all on this collective journey of like finding ourselves and figuring out who we are, being our true authentic selves. Have a good night. Talk to you soon.